Amy just called me to tell me there's a tornado warning in Ontario. I guess Ontario is a big place. In the Guelph area. I see they canceled the races in Clinton. I don't know whether that's due to weather or warnings or what it is, but weird weather we're having everywhere, eh? Just poured a minute ago, now it's bright. So we're going to start as we usually do with the small burns this week. I've removed Tim from the small burn stature as he has a lot of horses over there. So let's start out with the larger, or the smaller burns. We're going to start with Richard Morel. Richard's got Brave World. He missed this week. He'll be in to go next week. I know that a lot of people had asked why, and I hadn't heard back from Richard. I can only assume he wanted to give him a week off. So Brave World will race next week at Mohawk, I assume. If you race him at Georgian, fine, but I suspect it'll be back at Mohawk. Angie now has Rooney Blue Chip and Maintenance Man out in Illinois. That will change soon, as Maintenance Man is going to be likely going up for sale this week on Hoofbid, and Rooney Blue Chip, he obviously won't be going up for sale. I know a little frustration, a lot of patience asked for our clients with Rooney Blue Chip. I like Rooney. I think he shows a lot of talent and ability. You know, there seems to be opportunity there, but the break last night certainly sucked. It hurt. I wasn't shocked to see the break. Rooney Blue Chip had only been in Illinois for 3 days in Angie's care. It's tough to train that colt and say, you know, I told her the hobbles went a little snug on the horse. They looked okay going to the gate, but might have been a little bit long. Rooney had a lot to look at. That's a big track, big new track, big gate. Just a lot for a young horse to look at, and I guess I wasn't surprised he made a break, but I would be very surprised if he made one next week. Brandon Bates is Beach Bum BB. Beach Bum BB is in Illinois, and raced kind of flat her last two. Really promising her first mile, second and 52, and then come back a little flat. With all the sickness going around in the heat, I wouldn't be shocked to know that Beach Bum BB was a little under the weather. I haven't caught up with Brandon yet, but I will over the next few days sort that out, I'm sure. Jeff Byron has Arctic Force and Bottle of Red. Arctic Force's mile yesterday was a little bone to pick. A couple of owners had a bone to pick with me over Arctic Force's race yesterday. It ended up being a conversation for most of the day, and my take on it is the same as it was yesterday. I was happy with the mile he went. I'd rather not see our horses gutted out of the 8-hole for $4,300, you know, like we're all on the unemployment line. I know things are tight for everybody, and it's not fair to judge anybody in any one situation, but at the same time, racing a colt that we think could be better and could be a decent colt, racing them very, very hard into the 8-hole for $4,300, unless it looks like it's something you can do leaving the gate, which clearly it didn't. I'm glad that Jim or Jack Taggart Jr., Jim Taggart Jr., John Taggart, not sure of his name, Mr. Taggart Jr., I'm very happy that he protected her horse and raced him the way he did. So I was happy with Arctic Force. Bottle of Red drew the rail. Somebody messaged me today and said, drew the rail in race 8. Can you double check that isn't the 8-hole in race 1? Which, very clever, Bob. I think that was a fair argument, given the poor draws that we've had over the last 2 months and the bad luck we've had. It will turn around. It has to. So hopefully some good luck with Bottle of Red drawing the inside. Jeff did say he trained her up hard yesterday or this morning and said she trained well. So that's good. Jared Bothwell swimming Canadian Titan. Here's another trying situation. Canadian Titan, we all thought she'd be racing in the middle of her stake season, doing well right now. We haven't even got her started since that first start, and she was a little pinchy, and Jared thought that she was sound and went to train her the other day, and she made a couple of breaks on him. This happened with Mario also, so here's the problem, and Jared's 100% right. I thought she was fine, and you can get her around, and you can get her trained, but I have to ask the question, why is she making the breaks? And sometimes, and I've said this a number of times, and you guys know, I think you know what I'm talking about, when the horses start talking, you want to start listening. This filly has done this before. She did this back when Mario was getting frustrated with her in April, and then, you know, we changed a bunch of stuff on her and she trained well, and then she hit herself jogging. But did this come from hitting herself, training, sorry, did this come from hitting herself, or was that there for a long time? Was her knees bothering her? Her knees are frustrating. They're a little sore. So I'm not going to make any excuses for Canadian Titan, but I will tell you this, she won't start until she is ready to start. And I know that's a frustrating thing to hear, but at the same time, we have to do what's right for the filly. So although when I heard it from Jared yesterday making the breaks. He wanted to get her checked, wanted to make sure something wasn't brewing. I've known Jared Bothwell for a long time. One thing I can say, he's a very underrated horseman, very smart person, very good horseman, and I take his judgment to heart. I think he's 100% correct. The more I thought about it, the more I said, you know, yeah, I think he's probably right. So the vet's going to take a look at Canadian Titan again. They're going to try and get to the bottom of her. I do apologize, but we're not going to break the filly down and hurt this filly for the sake of you know, added pressure to try and race her. I know it's frustrating, and it is what it is. We are working on it. Also, Holy Chick is about ready to come back, and so is Jazzy Judy. Those two horses are swimming at Jared's. They're ready to start back jogging next week, which works out good because we have some horses that are going out to the field in other shed rows. So that will work out good. After this week, Jared will be left with just the one horse swimming, but I'm glad she's there. He's doing a great job with her, and I hope he keeps it up. So that is Richard Moreau of Brave World. Angie has Maintenance Man and Rooney Blue Chip. That'll be down to Rooney Blue Chip hopefully this week. Brandon Bates is Beach Bum BB. Arctic Forest and Bottle of Red are Jeff Barnes. Jared Bothwell has Canadian Titan, Holy Chick, Jazzy Judy. That phone call you just heard was from Doug Rideout wondering where his horses are. We're sending the 3 stake horses to Doug Rideout. Why not to Brandon? No particular reason. I think Brandon's a great horseman. The issue is I want to go drive these horses in Indiana. And although I think I missed the boat there, I didn't realize that Doug Rideout had driven all his own horses. So a little miscommunication there. But at the same time, when I spoke to Doug, he said, no, I'll list you on the horses happily. I just didn't want to step on any feet, right? So Doug's a good horseman, does well with young horses. He's at his own farm. And we sent Italian Grit, Fox Valley Britskin, that's my girl down. They just left an hour ago. They will be at Doug's barn within the next 2.5 hours. So those are all the small barns. Right now, we'll be back in a minute. We usually have 4 big barns, but now we have 5. Tim Twaddle made the big barn list. To get the big boy pants on, we'll be back in a minute, and we'll talk about them all.